Hello everybody, welcome to the next player reaction live stream. So with me here are the players, who are also known as Kangafango.
Hello.
Willis1961.
Howdy.
Mr. W.
They call it Dungeons and Dragons, but I've played D&D for a few years and I've seen a surprising lack of both.
And this campaign is no different because the dragon wasn't actually there.
No. Spoilers for
Apparently.
previous episodes.
And we've also got the muted Emichu. So, by the way, that was Emichu quacking. They briefly turned on the microphone. That's why they're going to be muted for. Anyway, so...
It's a strange condition.
So, hello Roomsbath, welcome.
Hello. Also hello Blue in Twitch chat.
Right, so, let's get started.
Sure. Okay. Hello, beloved. I saw that. Right, so this is Session 2 GM Report. Let's go.
Hello, and welcome to the second GM report video in this series. If you don't know what this is about, then I would suggest you have a look at the playlist in the description. There's an announcement video, and it's all there. This video, by the way, is uploaded on my second channel, the live-streamed actual play games, where we actually play the game, is on the main channel, the live stream archives. So, I'm assuming that you've now gone back and watched the announcement video or something like that. So
Emichu says, I miss the summer weather so much watching these videos. Yeah, true.
I miss the summer too.
I'm assuming that you've now gone back and watched the announcement video or something like that, so that you actually know what this is about. If not, that's fine. So, got some notes. The first note is, and this is about the second session of the game, obviously. The first note is about revising a ruling. So, in the first session, I made a ruling about how the Purify Food and Drink spell works. Namely that it gets rid of the alcohol in alcoholic beverages or something, because alcohol is a poison. Like, it is a toxin, it's a poison. And so the spell would do that. However, Willis, one of my players, approached me and said that this isn't really how he thinks the spell should work, and he's not really happy with that. And so I did some research online, what other people had to say about that, and found that it is actually quite a contested topic. And so I decided to revise my ruling and say that it works how the player intends, because the character knows... Well, the character would only cast the spell to do the thing that he wants it to do, therefore, yeah, basically I made that ruling. And I got thinking about revising rules in general and that sort of thing, well, rulings in general and that sort of thing. And I remembered, one second, just need to grab my paper, there we go. I remembered that that's actually quite an important part of GMing, which is that it's easy to feel as though, as GM, all of your rulings and all of your judgment has to be perfect. But it doesn't. One second. Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect, because if it would all have to be perfect, then it wouldn't be a lot of fun to play. You would just constantly feel the pressure and the maybe even anxiety of thinking about, well, if I say this now, if I make this ruling now, if I make this decision, then we'll have to stick with that forever, and it has to be perfect. And if it doesn't work, then I'm just gonna have to make up something more so that it does work and all that. And that wouldn't be fun at all. Yeah, when I first started GMing, I did have that belief.
Emichu says, yep, it's anxiety inducing.
Yeah.
Also, BGR's here.
Hello.
My man Sharaday's out here walking in the middle of nowhere in a shirt, and I'm freezing my posterior. Elisa. Yeah, hello as well.
Yeah, time traveling to the summer is very useful for that.
Mm.
Fun fact, I actually recorded this video only 2 minutes ago when I time traveled back to quickly do that because I'd forgotten to record it previously.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah.
BGR says, Kango, I got another mainland chest tomorrow. Oh, in real life, on the railway.
Ah, nice, lovely.
By the way, it's worth mentioning that we are only going for about an hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'll get
Pretty
going. Yeah, that is. Yeah, we haven't mentioned that on stream. That is the thing.
Yeah, so that means
yeah.
since we started about a quarter of an hour late, we should be going for about a quarter of an hour past 10. If
Hopefully.
that is,
Yeah.
if that is how that works. If everybody's okay with that.
Mm.
Anyway, go.
Right.
Okay.
If I said something, if I made this ruling this way, then that would be set in stone. Even if it was just in the moment, something I just didn't really think too much about, I just said, okay, this is how it works, now that has to be how that works. And it led to issues. And actually that was a belief of mine for quite a long time, GMing. But at one point I realized that it doesn't have to be that way. And since then, I found that GMing is, a lot more fun than it already was, but it was a lot more fun and a lot more free. Because, especially when a player approaches you about an issue like that, just take it seriously and just think, okay, we're all sitting around a table together, we're all trying to have fun playing this game. And so, why not maybe change it? Now, I don't mean that you should always change your rulings, but I do mean that you should consider it and take that consideration seriously. It'll improve your games a lot if you don't already do this. If you do already do this, then great. You're doing it better than I did for a long time. Okay, the next thing is about the recap, because usually in my games I make the players do the recap, because that if a player is taking notes, a player knows what's going on, then that is good to have an opportunity to kind of show that off, like yeah, I was paying attention, I've got notes, now see, I know what's going on. And if your players generally don't really know what's going on, then it's a good opportunity for them to realize that. And of course you can help remind players about what happened or fill in details or whatever, but I found that it is good for the players to do the recap generally. But with the live streamed game, I think yeah, I'm going to do the recap because it's faster, and with the live streams we don't have that much time to begin with.
I was supposed to be taking
next bit
notes the
is-
whole time?
When
Well, I mean, it's over now anyway, so...
Yeah. I mean, I did, honestly, but yeah, had to
You
balance.
didn't tell me there was going to be a quiz.
Well, you should always expect two things. One is a quiz, and two is the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah. So after this whole watch party, after all the watch parties, we'll have a quiz. Probably. Emichu says, I have a folder, IRL folder, of all our Thursday notes.
Oh.
Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
nice. That's nice.
begin with. The next bit is when Arkin spent those 5 gold pieces just for a little bit of information.
It's like, oops.
That was
You
so much
all
money,
Shut the bloody mouth.
and I,
You're never going to let that
well,
down.
Mr. W didn't really realize how much money that was, but the money was already gone when he spent it. So I decided that that generosity is going to buy the party a lot of stuff, just a lot of extra stuff. So, for example, like the little sparkly gem vial that's totally not glitter, or a good meal per day, so per day of resting, instead of just a little bite to eat as breakfast, or the fact that the barkeeper
kept the scale guard busy as they left, or that sort of thing. Because I don't want my player to feel as though he's thrown the money out the window. I want the player to get value for that money because, well, that just feels better
No refund.
than having lost money for something that would have been cheap. Not to say that you always should allow your players to just throw money at everything and it works always, because that should be a given that doesn't or shouldn't work. Right, the next thing is about the actual gems. Actually, maybe I should go down there. That looks nice. Because this is the same path that I walked on last time for my last report. And there's a path down there that looks nice. So maybe we can find a way down there. Yeah, I think we're going to go
Looks
down there.
pathier.
Well, it looks less pathy
So-
actually, but it
Yeah,
looks
about
nice.
the gems. In my description of the gems, I said it's kind of amethysty, and there are little flecks, little bits of stuff in there that the group doesn't know what it is, and that was a hint that the gems are from outer space, because they are from the asteroid that crashed there, that's being excavated and mined for gems. So just a little bit of a hint, not enough to actually tell the players that, but something that they might recall later on, something that I might be able to reinforce later and say, okay, you look at this gem and it kind of looks like this gem, only there's a little bit more other stuff in there. Yeah, next thing is about Sorum, which is that Sorum is just an innocent halfling with just a typical D&D starter quest that's totally non-suspicious, and it's working. And I'm quite happy that it's working like that. So yeah, that's good.
That was good.
Oh right, the next thing is about when Sorum was describing his fictional brother Pral. I decided to give him a blue velvet outfit, because I didn't think about this before, but if he's supposedly working with the council, for the council, then it would make sense that his official attire would be similar to the actual councillor's attire, but not quite the same. Because with the councillors, of course, it's maroon red with gold trimming and that sort of thing. So for the ones who are a little bit lower down, it's blue instead. Okay, speed of the game. Yeah, the game is going a lot slower than what I had intended. Oh, look at that. That is very nice. I did not expect to see that here.
Oh, shiny.
Oh, you want to see what I'm... Okay, 1 second. I'm going to quickly restart this as using the different camera, but you'll be able to see what I'm looking at. Yes, so I was looking up there. That all looks beautiful already. But then if you look down further, look at all of this growing here. All of these mushrooms. It's a summer's day. It's like 25 degrees Celsius. Even though, yes, I know it's technically still spring, but look at all of this growing here already. Even under there. See, there's so much back there. Huh.
It looks like
Interesting.
summer.
Well, back to the commentary.
Blizzard's here.
Hello.
Hello. It's been
Yeah.
a long time.
Mushrooms. Yes.
Hello. We're having the D&D watch party
Mhm.
after the series is finished. In case you missed it, because
Yeah,
I
we've
know
got-
you haven't been here
Yeah,
much.
We've
on
got the
stream.
players' reactions to the reports and stuff, learning secrets and stuff.
So yeah, we're having a watch party, third one.
A reaction to the reaction.
Yeah,
Yes.
indeed.
And then in 1 year's time, we can react to this.
Back to the commentary.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, so the game is going a lot slower than what I had planned. Because with the game length, the campaign length of 8 sessions, a quarter of that's already gone. And the players have literally just had the first conversation with the first NPC to get them started on the plot. So there are two ways that I could deal with this. Actually, let's have a look down there because that looks nice. Two ways I could deal with this. The first way is to redesign the plot so that the characters' backstories and all that gets resolved using the... Actually, this looks lovely there. Some pond scum. Yeah, gets resolved using the direction the players are going in already, and it's maybe a bit more local to the area, which, I mean, part of that is good. Involving the players in the the players' direction in the resolution of the plot is of course always good, and I'm going to do that anyway. But condensing it all and making all of the things solvable where the players are kind of means that they don't get to experience any of the world building that I have already done or would continue to do, and it would kind of cheat the players out of a lot of interesting stuff, and myself as well. And so, of course, the viewers as well, you. The other option is to extend the campaign length, which I think is what we're going to have to do. Actually, let's go that way. I haven't gone that way before. Actually, not in video anyway. So, I think that's probably what's going to have to happen. Which means that it's going to be longer for the players to be able to watch these videos, which isn't ideal because... Well, for various reasons, some of which are obvious to you, others you would not know, I do want the players to actually see these videos. But
Eventually.
I think the game...
A year later.
But we'll see.
Not quite. Not quite.
The next thing is the scale... Alright, the scale guard in the tavern. So the players were being quite open and loud about potentially making a jailbreak or crime scenes, that sort of thing. And so I decided to have a scale guard just walk in because there was a warning that they do sometimes go into these establishments. And so kind of the three ways that I saw that this could maybe end, well, two ways really. First is that the scene gets sped up a bit, and the party actually leave the tavern and go somewhere else and do stuff, because that scene was... I was looking at the clock, and for a stream, that scene was not dragging on, because that implies that it wasn't fun. And it was fun. It was great roleplay. I enjoyed it a lot. But in the time frame of the stream, it was getting quite long. And so either the scale guard coming in makes the players leave, which it has, or if they continue to discuss things here and continue the conversation normally, then the scale guard would find them suspicious and would kick them out of the town. In which case, Sodom would be there to lead them on to the plot. So yeah, that was good. Plus it meant that there was another thing that Mr. W's gold was useful for.
I'm the party's sugar daddy.
Okay, I've got two more points. First point is the importance of repeating descriptions, repeating details. Because as GM, of course, you should have a good idea of what your world looks like. But for the players, I know at least when I was a player, it can be easy to forget important details or just world-building details if you don't repeat them. So, for example, the main street having the channel dug along it with the crystal plates on top and the second road running underneath is a thing that I've repeated a few times, which I've done for this exact reason. Now, you can, of course, go overboard with it and just bore your players, but I think a bit of repetition with explanations or descriptions is good. Oh, this is such a lovely spot. Ah, I wish there were more spots like this around where I live. But within walking distance, it's really only a handful. Although, I do like these a lot. So yeah, reporting details can be important. Next thing is, obviously, the party didn't go the way that I'd intended for them to go. Namely, to go with Sorum to Vale Rift to follow the plot there. The party instead decided to probably help Mima first, or at least to investigate that.
But
And so I
by the way,
had...
have you switched on your chat element or not? Or is it still mine?
I'm not sure.
Because I don't think your chat is showing up on stream.
Oh, right. But with when we do the prep video, then it might be confusing anyway with the written
I don't
stuff.
know. So do you want to,
Especially since
just
it's white
to get
text.
lost then?
Yeah, well, you can read bits out. So yeah, I mean, I look, when I see it move, I look over and read it anyway. So your chat messages are being read.
Okay. Alright.
Very yes.
To gate. That. And so I had to come up with a bit of the layout and some of the details of the House of Harmony on the spot, which was fun for me. Because the thing is that from a player's point of view, it shouldn't feel different. What you're just making up on the spot and what you're referencing from your notes should feel the same. Now, of course, if it doesn't, if you need a bit more time to make things up on the spot, that's fine. But ideally, there shouldn't be a difference. And so I've tried, even though I had to come up with everything on the spot, I tried to put in details which kind of make it feel like it was pre-prepared. So, for example, the fact that there are gardens and flowering plants around, and that there are cannons looking out to the sea, and all that sort of thing, to give that impression. Because being a GM, even if you're not live streaming, is part performance for your players. It doesn't have to be. If that's not what you're comfortable with, or if you're a new GM, or you just like playing it differently, that's fine, as long as you're having fun. But for me, it's part performance. So, yeah. But that was fun. I really did enjoy that, because those kind of moments when things don't go how I planned is what makes GMing fun. Well, what makes it really fun. Because, of course, having the players find the stuff that I have prepared and seeing their reactions to it as they're exploring it and interacting with it, that's great, but it's not very exciting. The exciting bit is when you're unprepared and when you've got to make it up on the fly, which happened there. So, yeah, that's all my notes. So, with that, thank you all very much for watching this video. Again, the series is split into the videos, which is the preparation and the reporting, which is on this second channel, which is what you're currently watching. And the live streams, the actual play, is live streamed on Twitch and then archived on the main channel. In the playlist, everything's all together, so for ease of access. So I'll see you for the next preparation video, which should be exciting. So until then, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Honestly, I
Yeah.
could never tell the difference between what was pre-made and what you made up on the spot.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
all, I mean, seemed very smooth to me.
Well, that's good then, I'm glad.
You were successful in your deception.
Yes. So we've got about 20 minutes left.
Yeah, well...
This is 25. This next one.
Yeah, I've got about 20 minutes
It's
left, but we
25,
did
5 minutes
start... yeah, so if we do the next one...
True, but I think it's true. But I think if we make this one our last one,
Yeah.
you know.
Hello.
Marble team.
Besides, it'll only be 2 minutes because it's 37 past.
Yeah, so Emichu, do you think you'd have about 25 minutes still?
Well, we'll watch this one. Oh, so start it.
25, yes. Okay.
Okay.
Alright. Good, thank you.
So here we go.
Let's go then. This is session 3 GM prep.
Hello, and welcome to the prep video for the third session in this mini-series. If you don't know what this is about, I would suggest you watch the beginning of the playlist linked in the description. It has both the videos on this, the second channel, and also the live stream archives which are on the main channel. Let's actually get started with this session. It looks like they might be trying to break out Mima's brother first, although I'm not entirely certain about that yet. Right at the end, we ended with Car basically dive bombing to
Oh, right.
Yeah.
1 second.
Do you want to change that?
Of course.
Okay. Thank you, Rimsbath.
Okay, let's continue.
Alright.
with Car basically dive bombing to shout Mima's name. I would imagine that Emichu's idea behind that probably was so that if he is being held in one of the prison rooms on the outside with the barred windows, that he might be able to wave out or signal somehow where he is.
Rimsbath says now it's black.
What's
What
black?
do you mean?
Ooh. I see
What?
the screen.
A video. This. Disable that. Oh, you disabled the wrong element. Click enable preview and
I don't know what you mean.
you disabled the wrong element.
Oh, was it the...
Yeah, video capture, that's my face cam element. The large one.
Oh, sorry.
Corner webcam was yours, so you had the large one.
Yeah, I
It's
think it was a
fine
bit...
now.
I think... Yeah, what confused me is that in previous versions of OBS, if you
Yeah.
scrolled, it was smooth, but now if I scroll, it jumps so much
Yeah,
that
it's
I
a
can't...
bit strange.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks for letting us know.
sure. Okay. Emichu, that was the idea, yeah. Okay.
Was so that if he is being held in one of the prison rooms on the outside with the barred windows, that he might be able to wave out or signal somehow where he is, which to me says that at least Emichu is considering breaking him out. There is a myriad of ways that they could go about doing this, and I can't possibly prepare for all of them. What is probably best for me to do now is just come up with a basic layout of the of that kind of prison dungeony complex, and maybe come up with a few key NPCs there, like Captain of the Guard or something like that, and just improvise the rest of it.
Emichu says, I wanted to, but party said no.
I thought it was the anti-aircraft fire that said no.
I mean, those as well. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to quickly make a... What are you doing out there? Also, I will point out, I'm recording this video on Thursday, and the game is tomorrow, and I've got stuff to do today, so let's try to keep this a bit shorter, if possible. I think it's time to come up with a basic layout for this.
Ooh. Are those the cliffs?
Yes.
Nice.
By the way, this is not sped up.
So you were talking throughout all of that.
Yes.
Now he's just mumbling to himself.
So, is there anything more we need to come up with on this sort of scale?
I don't think so. So I've had the idea of Mima's brother maybe already having been sent off to Gemhaven to work as a labourer in the mines. It would mean that the party pretty much has no reason to not set off on the treasure road, passing through Vale Rift, passing through, doing all that stuff. The only thing that I don't necessarily like about this is that the world changing and shifting to kind of counter the player's initiative a bit, which I'm not a big fan of, because on the one side of this topic, I didn't say that Mima's brother is still here. I didn't say, it's been 3 weeks, and so in that time it's totally realistic for the paperwork to already have been processed and for him to have been sent off to the mines as punishment, to work as a labourer there. And so there wouldn't be any contradiction or retconning or anything like that. And making changes to the world building, depending on what the players do, especially in a game where so much is made up on the spot anyway, is totally fine. But it does, in this particular case, feel like I'm taking away a bit from the player's agency. Because if the players do want to try to break him out, then having that be an option, a path that the players could take, is something good, because that's what the players came up with. I want the players to be able to take that path. And if I change this so that Mima's brother isn't there anymore, he's where the plot is, then that's taking that initiative away from the players. But in this particular case, for this game, I have to also consider the game's length. I'm leaning on the side of making this change. Even though if this were a longer campaign, then I would not do this. I would just let the players explore the world how it is, and whatever path they choose, even if it wasn't in my original plot, that's the path that then they follow. And so that's how I would normally do it, but in this case I don't think we've got the time for it. If we do move Mima's brother to Gemhaven, then by the time the party gets there, with the estimated length of this campaign, it would already be quite near the end of it. And so, on that journey, the mysteries would have to already have opportunities to be solved on the way, at least some of them. Now, of course, in Vale Rift, there's lots of opportunity for this. Now, how is the party going to find this out? I have no idea what the party is going to do, so I have no idea how they're going to find this out. I guess it's just going to be something to improvise, to keep in my mind, and if an opportunity presents itself, to have that dropped.
Yes, that was supposed to be
I
crushed.
suppose one way of doing it might be that
Amethyst.
since Ka has already made himself quite noticeable, if the party hangs around Shard's Calling for a while, then the Scale Guard might approach the party and take them in for questioning, at which point if Mima, if they see Mima there, they probably would know her, and that might be one way for them to get the information. Okay, so that's good. The other idea I had, which is kind of a continuation of what I had already planned, is for kind of a weak wizard to be found probably in Vale Rift, who was looking for a magic item like Ka's friend, to kind of lay the groundwork, plant a few more seeds that maybe there are some similarities which aren't exactly coincidences. So that's the thing I need to write down. Okay, so I've written Vale Rift. A weak wizard was led here to look for a magic artifact, like Ka's friend. Maybe he's one of the magic wonder scammers. Okay, so another idea I had is that if the party does get captured or questioned, having a champion of Tritherion with them could get them out of trouble, depending on who the actual kind of captain of the guard or whoever there is. That might be a thing that helps. That's just more a thing for me to keep in mind rather than actually make a note about. one more thing, which is that we're 3 sessions in and we've not had any action yet. Which,
Oh, it's frozen.
Is it?
I mean, normally
Not
I
for me.
pretty much just let the game flow
Sorry.
how it does.
So what's happened?
It's back now. It froze for a little bit, but it's back now.
Okay. Alright.
I mean, normally I pretty much just let the game flow how it does, and if the players get into dangerous areas, then there's going to be action. If not, then not. We're already a quarter in, we've not had action yet. And I did want the party to level up during this. So maybe? Although I don't really see how action could be put into this current situation without it seeming forced. Aside, of course, if they try to just break out Mama's brother by force, which, by the way, if they do actually go in to try to break Mama's brother out by force, without inquiring first or doing stuff like that, then I'm probably going to move Mama's brother back into the prison dungeons, so that this breaking out actually feels satisfying, if they manage to accomplish it. And I was on the fence anyway whether or not to do this, so yeah. Actually, I've just had an idea, because I was thinking about, with Ka doing this reconnaissance currently, this is taking quite a while, and so with the other players there, waiting behind at the kind of the plaza, I don't want to waste that time. So what if we have a magic user who has kind of failed one of Zinthar's tests of power, and now is just trying to make a living in the city. I think that could be a good opportunity to kind of have both sides of this split party doing something valuable. Okay, so yeah, let's do that. How about we make it a bard? Because so far we've had druids, we've had wizards. How about a bard? How about well, a bard of course needs to perform folk to cast magic. So how about, because we need something interesting for the party to want to interact with an individual, otherwise it's just a background NPC. So how about it's this performer who is doing their best to perform, but something's making it difficult, like something is so obviously odd about them. Well, I was gonna say armor, but how about metal gloves, what they called gauntlets. Okay, well, how about it's this kind of buxom woman in this quite alluring red dress, kind of sleeveless, performing, singing, maybe even an element of dance, just to try to earn some amount of money to hopefully pay for a ship back to where she originally came from. But she's having great difficulty with it. Probably I'm going to give her disadvantage on her rolls. Because she's wearing these heavy metal gauntlets, or greaves? No, gauntlets. Which have been cursed. They're a cursed item, which she found in a dungeon somewhere, which is actually one of Zinthar's tests of power pits of peril. And they're stuck on her. They've basically got Curse of Binding, if you want to use a Minecraft reference. That's making her performance really very difficult. And so that might make the players want to interact with her, especially when it's while they're waiting for Ka to return anyway. This is actually interesting. The idea that Zinthar has all of these little mini dungeons around the countryside that he probably his minions, either himself or his minions, orders to have stocked with monsters and traps, and maybe he can have different flavors of them, like if there is a wizard who specializes in, I don't know, one of the schools of magic's necromancy, for example, then maybe he's got just the right mini dungeon prepared to test the death magic powers of this wizard. Whereas a divination wizard, for example, like Mr. W's character, Arkan,
I said
would
it right
have
that time.
a different dungeon that he might be led to. Does that make sense with the previous idea of the plot of being led to find out what's happening with the Green Matriarch and on the way? Well, yeah, on the way. You could have this be a thing that's happening on the way, maybe. Yeah, because I was thinking that might be a way of introducing action as well. So that while traveling, they find this mini-dungeon, or they're led to this mini-dungeon, maybe in an effort to find a good resting spot, even though it's only 1 day's travel. Can I make that make sense? Although exploring even just a mini dungeon could take an entire session if it's only 2 hours. I suppose a simple dungeon is something that I can make up on the fly if it's something that feels like it would fit in the flow of the game. Maybe combined with that, the idea of Brack kind of feeling his powers wane a little bit in one spot. Maybe it's not anti-Tritherion cult or whatever. Maybe it's just one of those mini dungeons that has some sort of divine cursed artifacts in there or something like that, and that's what Brack is feeling as they're walking by. Also, if they are supposed to be led to this place, maybe Sorum could claim that they need to find shelter somewhere because there's a storm on the way, even though it's clear skies and there is no storm on the way. But that being one, like a part of the routine, like maybe as a first hurdle. So yeah, that kind of makes sense. So the routine is these young magic users come to the island, and then Sorum finds them, tells about the story, please help me, that sort of thing. There are probably variations of that story, but anyway. And then on the way somewhere, as the first kind of hurdle, a little mini dungeon, nothing too deadly, just a little test of the power so that Zinthar can know what sort of flavor of magic they have, just to have a verification of that. And then they go on to whatever the main test of power would be in this case, finding out what's the matter with the Green Matriarch, and if possible also maybe those monsters of uncertainty. I think that makes sense. If they do speak with this woman, who we haven't come up with a name for her yet, but if they do speak with her and they find this out, then maybe that could be the first clue about there being parallel lines. Like, yeah, there was, especially with Ka, because maybe she's the one who's come to this island looking for a powerful magical artifact. We need to come up with this. Hold on. I've named the object that she was looking for the Divine Lyre of Persuasion. Yeah, it's like, oh, I came to this island. When I was younger, I was developing my magical powers, and it got to the point where I was performing little magical shows for people around my village and surrounding towns and stuff like that. And then someone took notice, and we got talking, and I was told about this magic artifact called the Divine Lyre of Persuasion being on this island. And there was this cheap boat trip that, because the man was a trader and he had a ship that was leaving for the island in a few days, and he offered me a discount. And so I came to this island, and me and a few friends I met here, which would be the people who would have received her, searched for it, and we found the entrance to a dungeon where it was rumored to have been buried. Somehow they got separated, and she doesn't know if the friends she made on the island even made it out alive. She only knows that she made it out alive, but with these cursed gauntlets on there, which she put on in desperation when they got separated to try to give her some amount more protection. Of course, she wasn't wearing the dress then. She'd have been in adventuring gear. She's not stupid. But also, she's not a character in an MMORPG. And so now she's just trying to earn enough money by performing to get back to where she originally came from. But with how difficult these gauntlets are making her life, she's not having much progress. Now, what has she done about trying to remove the gauntlets? Okay, well, it's a curse. So she'd probably have gone to some temples to try to get them to remove the curse. Because there is a spell that removes curses. So let's say she tried going to Mirgani, the Council of Faith, but she couldn't get through to her. She got into the House of Harmony to the temples, but there was a months-long waiting list for favors from this woman, and so she couldn't get through to her. She even went up to Veil Rift, where maybe with those new magical powers there, maybe there's a new temple complex that is currently being built there, and
Hold on, BGR's off.
Okay. Bye-bye,
Check
VGR.
out Channel Shops tomorrow. Had the guys fetch the electrolyzer with a recondenser. Alright, thank you for coming. See you tomorrow, hopefully.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
powers there, maybe there's a new temple complex that is currently being built there, and there are already clerics there taking advantage of this magical space. And so, yeah, maybe that's a thing. Another thing that points to Veil Rift. Saying she even went to Veil Rift for the new temples that are being built there. And she even got through to one of the clerics, but he wanted, I don't know, 500 gold pieces. No, that's too much. Okay, in Pathfinder, a masterworked weapon costs something like 300 gold pieces around there, I think. So I think removing a curse might be equal in value to a masterworked weapon, because this is a lot of effort that goes into this. So let's just say they wanted 300 gold pieces to remove the curse from these items, from these gauntlets, and she, if she had that amount of money, then she could have already made it back home to her family, who could have maybe helped her with this or something like that. That's another thing pointing to there. And if the party wants to help this woman, if they fancy accepting another side quest, then maybe either she would accompany them to Veil Rift, in which case if they're going along that road and if they do pause by one of these mini dungeons, maybe she can recognize some similarities between what she went through and what the party is now about to go through. And maybe that could be hints of something happening, because I think I have to increase the rate at which I give out hints, because again,
We're
the
very
short campaign
dense.
length. Normally I would have this happen much more naturally, but I am kind of pushing a bit. I mean, if I wanted to make it really obvious, I could have her maybe recognize the marks of Tritherion on our own cleric. And actually having her... Actually, that's a good idea. Having her speak to Brack about maybe knowing a way to remove curses or anything like that. And then that gets into the conversation, perhaps. I don't know. But if the party don't help her, then it was still just a good bit of clues about there might be some parallels happening here. So now we just need a name. By the way, I was thinking of a human. How about Alea Goldmark? Seems reasonable. So if we do intend, so if this character would carry along with us, going into potentially a mini dungeon, then I would need to come up with a stat block with her having bardic abilities, that sort of thing. But I don't think I need to come up with this yet. That's just waste of time. If she does, if the players do speak with her and they're interested and she does join the party for a little while and they do go into the thing, see how many ifs there are? And there's plenty of space for me to do that. Her knowing Draconic as well could be quite useful for her to maybe act as a translator between some of the Scale Guard and... yeah, that could be useful. I guess if she is gonna make performance checks, then I do kind of have to know her charisma, at least. Anyway, that's good. What else do we need? Well, I think we need to come up with one more NPC who is the captain of the guard in the House of Harmony. The party is likely going to meet that character, either if Ka is going to be captured because they're going to try to shoot him, because he circled the main seat of power here a few times and then started dive bombing down to one of the buildings with a world that has magic items in it. What if he drops a flask of fireball, or I don't know,
Magic
whatever,
missile.
or even cast a spell? No, of course they're going to try to shoot him with the ballistas. So maybe he would get captured, because I was thinking about this with a height, like if he's flying and gets shot down and then falls, that could be the death of the character right there. So maybe with the roofs, maybe I could describe it so that if the character does get shot down, the character lands on one of the roofs and tumbles down almost to the edge, not quite falling off. I don't generally like giving the characters plot armor like that, and this is a bit of plot armor. I mean, this is a bit of plot armor, but in the context of this game and how few sessions we have and how early we are, I think it's fine to give a little bit more leeway in this case, even though usually I don't give plot armor like I said previously. If Ka does escape, and then if the party sticks around for a while, the Scale Guard would come looking for them and then bring them in for questioning, at which point it would probably be the Captain of the Guard talking with them, and so we need to come up with this character. So I've decided to call him Razef, the Dragonborn, of course, Captain of the Guard at the House of Harmony. He knows Common, Draconic, and Elven. He's got an Investigate of 4 and Insight of 3. I've given him 25 hit points, actually they're 1d8. I could go through the process of figuring out which hit points he should have based on what other stuff, like what it says in the DMG, or in the Monster Manual, I forget which one. But I don't have that much time, and it just needs to feel right.
Amateur says, plot arm car. That sucked. Oof.
Plot arm car.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Well, you've got to get those car jokes in while it's still relevant.
Indeed. Alright, let's continue.
But I don't have that much time, and it just needs to feel right, I think. Especially if it's not meant to be a character who you fight. As long as I have a value to fall back on, as long as it feels about right, I think that's okay. Although 25, let's reduce that to maybe 20. AC 18, yeah, since he's wearing full plate. Speed 30, well, yeah, speed 30, because he's got a strength of 15, so that would work. And yeah, that's good. So, if we now just think about how we intend the session to go. So, Ka goes over, shouts, probably is going to either be shot down or not. Someone notices. If they don't, then they're just going to wait around, and then they're going to have to come to the House of Harmony to find out what happened with Ka. In which case, then they can learn about Mama's brother having been already transported off to Gemhaven. But if Ka does return, then the plan is, if I have, well, I think have a look in at least the magic shop for magic items, which I'm going to hint at, probably Sorum is going to hint at, and then to set out towards Vale Rift, and then maybe come across a mini dungeon. We won't get this far in this session, likely. If we do get this far in the session, I can just make it up on the fly and just draw it down on roll 20. I think it's probably alright for this session, I hope. Anyway, I'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We met Alia, basically said, "We're busy later, dude," and ignored her.
Yep.
I'll just read that out. Addendums while editing. Alia should be earning money to get the curse lifted, not to get back home. If the players don't do it naturally, Sorum will suggest to check out the Dragon Eye, as it's too late to set out for Vale Rift. Sorum will lure the party into the mini dungeon because he thinks his brother may have taken shelter there, not because there's a storm coming. Okay. Interesting.
I like how it's
Yes.
in ominous red text as well.
And the music. Just listen to the
Dun,
music.
dun, dun.
Yeah.
Listen. Just listen to that.
I'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Hold on. There.
Ooh, that's a bit uneasy.
So dramatic.
Yeah, I think the most action we got was Ka dive bombing the prison,
Yeah.
Spider Gnome climbing out the skylight, and then we got to the mini dungeon, had a bad roll, and ran away.
I mean, you didn't have any reason to go down there. Plus, you got a lot of...
To be fair, another bit of action we had
What?
was me successfully managing to convince the other Scale Guard to piss off while I got you all to safety with the disguised self
Yeah.
and using my 2 divination roll.
Mm-hmm. Also, I like how the other music just continues after this. Just listen to that.
Yeah. I thought that
Selfish,
would be
huh?
funny.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So see now the report videos are going to get a bit shorter. The next one's
Yeah.
4 minutes, and then after that, I think the average is going to be like 12
That's
minutes.
15.
Because
Yeah.
we start doing less.
So it's 4
Well-
minutes, 15 minutes, 8 minutes.
No, it's because there isn't as much detail to go into because it's the same sort of things that I've already addressed.
Hmm.
Yeah, all that stuff you made up for Alia. It was
Facecam?
a couple of months later before we got to use it.
Well,
Yeah, and the thing we mentioned about Talon, about Mama's brother, we never found out if he was ever taken to Gemhaven or not, or if he was still.
Yeah. Mima's imaginary brother wasn't even in the prison.
Hmm.
well, that should be a bit self-explanatory. If he were to have been imaginary.
Hmm.
That's why he wasn't in the prison.
Mm.
It all makes sense
Although
now.
imagine if after saying all of those things about imaginary brother, imagine if you had gone to the House of Harmony, you asked about the prisoner, and you said, "No, there's nobody here by that name." And then,
Oh no!
It's all been a subplot. Mima
I mean-
actually had.
I mean, honestly, if this was all set in present day, like present day technology, like real technology, then I could have just shown the rest of the party like pictures, like old family pictures or something. But that
Well,
wasn't really the case.
I
but-
mean, you could have, if you say modern technology, then you could have just AI, like put a face from thispersondoesn'texist.com or whatever that site is, which randomly generates faces, like realistic faces, and just showed that, edited onto a picture of you.
I guess so. Or maybe not that modern, but yeah. Like if,
Yeah,
if-
you just
Yeah.
took your own picture, drew in a mustache, and cut their hair short.
Or you could have taken one picture before you shaved off your mustache, and then another one after, and then composed the two over each other.
But yeah, I just meant like if cameras were a thing,
I'm going
is what I meant.
Yeah.
Yes, you photoshopped your brother in.
But yeah.
Okay.
PLP chat. I knew it, says Emi2. The GIF looks a little bit Photoshop. I see.
Okay, so is that all we have time for today then?
The next one would be just under 4
Yeah, I think
minutes.
so.
So yeah, just under 4 minutes.
I think that's all for today.
Rimspot says,
Yeah,
"Share us, why are
Give us
you?
a-
Thanks. No.
it'll give us a chance to rewatch the stream
That's
before we
a good
get
point.
the after action.
Rimspot says, no. Lots of time.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
not everybody has the time. The time, who has the time? Okay, well,
The doctor.
I suppose so.
he does until he really doesn't.
Yeah. I've never heard of that site, like the face generator. I know there was a face generator on. I knew there was a face generator with a lot of sliders, like made from like I think from a yearbook or something, like college yearbook or something, like all of those pictures and then combines that somehow. But
Well, yeah, it's
also
got-
Code Monkeys here.
oh, hello. We're
Hello.
just finishing because we've only had an hour today.
Code Monkey says, "Time, Dr. Freeman. Is it really that time again?" Half-Life reference, yes. But yeah.
Yeah, it's called thispersondoesn'texist.com.
Yeah, there it is on there.
Oh, yeah.
Watermark.
Right, so
Or Half-Life 2, but yeah.
I guess until
Right.
next week.
That's Monday.
Yes.
So, bye-bye, everybody.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Good night,
Bye.
everyone.